Hi, welcome. I'm Dr. Holler and welcome to the course. For our very first virtual lecture video, I'm going to take a look at how psychologists ask and answer questions. So there's three major ways that psychologists do this. The first is that they simply describe what is going on around them. And there's a couple different ways that we do that. The first is a case study. That's where you simply follow around a single individual or a group of people and kind of follow their lives around. If you, like me, are a fan of reality TV, that's a perfect example of a type of case study, really. The second way is this idea of naturalistic observation. That's where you simply observe people in their natural environment. You look and see what they're kind of doing normally. If you're a person that likes to watch people, you watch people at the mall or in restaurants, you're actually conducting kind of a form of naturalistic observation. And the third way is through a survey. That's simply asking people a bunch of questions to get their kind of opinion on either themselves or something that's going on in the world. And oftentimes you see that a lot on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, people asking questions all the time about what other people think. So in a way that kind of is like a survey, maybe not the best survey, but it is a type of survey. So the second way that psychologists ask and answer questions is trying to describe the relationship between two variables. And variables can be anything like your feelings, your thoughts, your behaviors, and they do that through something called a correlational method. And that's where you look at basically the relationship between two variables. Correlations can be positive, they can be negative, which means that two ideas can either increase at the same time or decrease at the same time. So here's an example. The more that you brush your teeth, the less likely you are to get cavities. So that's actually a negative correlation, because the more you do one behavior, brush your teeth, the less likely you are to have another behavior, which is getting a cavity. Another example is this idea that during the summer months, the hotter it is, the more crimes are actually committed. And sometimes people are like, why? What is that? You know, why are those two ideas related? You know, it's not like if I feed you guys all ice cream and then you go commit crimes. It's not a cause and effect relationship, but they find that when people are outdoors more, there's more opportunity to commit crimes, and so the crime rate actually increases. And that's an example of a positive correlations, where the more one thing occurs, like the weather, the heat, the temperature increases, the more another variable increases, like the amount of crime that is committed. And finally, the third way that psychologists ask and answer questions is through experiments, to basically look at the cause and effects of behavior. And this is kind of the gold standard for psychologists, because then we're really able to nail down, you know, what causes what. One famous example is something called the Stanford prison experiment in psychology. We're going to learn about it, but basically what they were looking at is the way that roles really affect how a person behaves, thinks, and feels. So they took one group of people and they randomly divided them into two groups, either prison guards or prisoners. And they basically set up this whole elaborate prison scheme and wanted to see how having a role of either being a prisoner or a prison guard really affects how people think and feel. And there were some very surprising results that we will learn later on in the semester. Well, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.